If you are praying for a soulmate, do not act like a playmate when the Bible says you are a helpmate. What does that mean to you, Brandon?
I mean, everybody knows what a playmate is, so we don't go into that. But a lot of times when I do meet women, or in the past when I have met women, a lot of women will try to go by what they think a man wants versus what that ideal man that you're speaking to wants. So it's almost this perception of, well, based off TV and music and things that I've overheard, this is what I'm going to do in order to reel him in, versus having a conversation with him and allowing him to actually show you what he wants. So usually, women have tried to compensate. Well, I'll give him a little bit of this, and maybe he'll do this. So I'm almost like, you've ever seen the hamster on the treadmill?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's just going because of that carrot. That's just what it is. Women are dangling things in front of us and giving us a little bit every time we run a mile or two. And that's just the wrong mentality to have for any type of beginning of a relationship.
What are women doing that is not per se what we think a guy wants, but not really what he wants? Where do we have it wrong at?
Most importantly, when I was dating, a lot of times women that I would meet wouldn't allow me to be the man, which is so weird, They would offer to pick me up, like I don't have a car, or they wouldn't, like, I know women that wouldn't let me open the car door. It was just, it's just insane what society has come to when it comes to the dating game, when the woman feels like, I don't know if I should go out with this guy because when the check comes, I don't know if I'm going to get it. And it's one thing my dad has always taught me, even though we haven't had that relationship, is one thing he's always taught me is to, allow a woman to be a woman when he's around, when you're around them. Because a lot of women can't be women around the men that they're dating. And I'm not sure where that's coming from. So that was something that always turned me off. The ability to not have a date planned and tell her to wear something nice because she's not really used to that. So I'm not sure where, hopefully she can answer that question, what's going on where women don't feel like they should have to be the woman in the date. They want to play both roles.
Well, Brennan, you have to think about it. Let's look at the demographics in the church. Because, I always go back to the church.
That's right.
You have more women doing things. You have more women bishops and
That's
more
correct.
women apostles than you've ever had in history. And so women have now taken over. We've taken over. We've taken on a role we weren't designed to take over.
That's right.
We weren't designed to be that head. But we've taken on that role because, first of all, 75% of our males are locked up. The African American males are locked
That's
up.
good.
So guess what? So if they're locked up, you have the single woman that is left there to take care of these children.
That's right.
That's left there to kind of do what needs to be done. So in society, in the church, in the business world, you're starting to see more African American women, or just women, period, in those roles. And guess what? We were pushed into that. And I think society kind of made it that way in actuality.
Yeah.
And I would say too, just based on my experience, it seems to me like it's kind of scary because, okay, women, we are so used, especially African American, we're so used to now how it's kind of being the head of everything. And when you're used to that and you see that generationally, right, to let a man take control is kind of scary.
Yeah.
Because you don't even know what type of decisions he will make.
That's right.
So
That's why you got to go back to the principle of God, because if God ordained him, then, because that's my, that's a prayer that I pray, is that I want to be able to know that my husband will be able to lead,
right.
and to be submissive to that, and that to be okay. But when you have gotten to the point where because we get, okay, you give them these block of instructions to do, and then you look and, okay, 1, 2, and 3 not done. And you wonder, okay, why you didn't do it? And so guess what we do? Oh, I can do it. I got this. So, because I'm waiting on you to do it, and you're not doing it fast enough. But then that comes into the point where we have to have patience.
That's right. That's really big.
And guess what? And if we don't have that patience to wait, then guess what? We're going to have some problems. And it's always going to look like we're taking control. And most men don't like that control freak.
That's right.
They don't. And that is a big turnoff.
Yeah.
When you were talking about turnoff. And men don't like women that are victims.
Yeah.
That seems like, oh, woe is me, woe is me.
Yeah.
They don't want that. They want somebody that's going to be able to come to the table and say, okay, I'm bringing something to the table. Exactly, more, just as much as you're bringing it.
That's right.
Because I have a quote that I see all the time. It said, if a man is not able to bring a man should be able to bring more to the table than just to come and eat.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
right.
wow.
That's right. That's right.
So you should be able to bring something to the table. It should be an equal sharing. To
That's
be
what I brought
submissive is to honor the man as God would honor him.
That's
because
right.
I've heard women that know what submissiveness talk about it like this. You don't want to do it, but you do it as you're doing it unto God. And that's what teaches you submissiveness.
That's good.
Because if I looked at my husband, I'd be like, I ain't doing that. No, ma'am. But when I look at God and look at his example, God blesses us so much when we do it his way.
That's right.
When he tells us to do, he does tell us. We ignore him, because I've ignored him. Many days he's told me that stuff, to do stuff, and I have cried doing it. But I did it, and he rewarded me greatly. And that's what submission is. You're not submissive so much to that man. You're submissive to God.
That's right.
And God is going to believe that he'll do exactly what he says with that man. Now, stupidity, women have a tendency to fall prey to being stupid when they allow themselves to just be used. And they know that they're being used. They're being used physically for their body. Like I tell people, when men come in looking at you sexually, and that's all they want from you, you never can do anything with them, you never can be seen in public with them, that's being used. That's when your stupidity kicks in. So, yeah.
And it's crazy that she just touched on that. I'm going to go about this in two ways. One way is when my pastor would always tell me, which is so crazy, our relationships with people is just as simple as our relationships with God. Our relationship with God. It's an instant reflection.
Yes.
So you have trust issues, you don't trust God. Simple as that.
Yes.
If you're someone that lies to people, you try to lie to God, but it's impossible. But in your prayer life won't be strong because you're not really reaching deep down in your heart's desires because He knows what you want. So you're coming up with this fake prayer life, so He's not answering. Number two, when she touched on, women and how they are stupid, is that what you said?
Yes.
I went to this relationship clinic the same day that we had the Christian Single Social Mixer. The bishop for my pastor, his name is Bishop G. Bloomer. But what he did when the word stupid came about, because he said the same thing you said, which is just crazy, he went to the definition and broke down each part of the definition. And one part of the definition of that word was being intoxicated or inebriated in a sense. And that does not direct usage of being, drinking or something like that. It's just when you're stupid, in a sense, you do things without thinking. It's as simple as that. So you overthink things without just looking at the picture, which alcohol makes you do. It makes you overthink or underthink. It doesn't allow you to be on point. So a lot of times when women do things, they just try to ignore the facts and just go forward. And they know they're being used, like we said. So, the word stupid can be broken down so many ways. It's a slow reaction to things. It was just incredible what he did. And if we had more time, I would go into it.
Well, let me ask you, okay. So, for instance, like when it comes to stupid.
Yeah.
Okay, because I really want to clarify this. What you consider stupid and what you consider submissive, right? For example, we see it all the time in the news. I know, let's say, who was a big one that was serial cheater? Kobe Bryant. Okay.
Kobe.
Yeah. Kobe Bryant was a serial cheater.
Yeah.
And his wife, because it was very public, his wife took him back time after time after time. Okay, time after time after time. Situation with your uncle, things like that. And it's kind of like, okay, was she being submissive or was she being stupid? Because on the same hand, they're still together. That's still his wife. She's stuck in there, but would you consider like a situation like that submissive or stupid?
I think she's looking at her security.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Kobe is her security. That's no different than Bill and Hillary. When the scandal came out about Bill and Monica, Hillary not at one time moved because she knew what her security was. And sometimes we can make decisions based on our emotions and not looking at everything that surrounds it.
She's so good.
Hillary, at this point, could not have been able to run for the presidency if she had made a wrong move at that time.
That's right.
That's true. That's true.
And she secured her future. And sometimes we have a tendency to act quickly, react. when we react, it's not always the best action because God did say, for better, for worse, for richer, for poor.
Ooh, Lord.
And so if he said that,
That's
then
good.
he meant that. See, we don't understand covenant. That's the big thing. And covenant has nothing to do with cheating, love, any of that. Covenant has everything to do with relationship.
Okay.
We don't build relationships when we get married. We build for love. And see, when love fails, we believe. When love fails, we have nothing to stand on. But if you build relationship first, you'll always have that relationship.
Okay.
I got a part in the book where it says, beware of the wolf. And that's because men hide in spirituality. The wolf hides in spirituality because they know that women that feel you save and you with God will easily be good prey. And wolves prey. And so since they prey, they come in looking spiritual. But you're going to have to, the Bible tells us to identify the spirit by the spirit.
What I'm finding out a lot is a lot of men are not transparent about their walk with God.
Yes.
And that's a really big thing because you don't know what you're holding back could be someone's blessing. So, I've gotten to the point now where, if I'm even in the process of dating, I just let her know what I'm dealing with, so how we should handle it accordingly.
Exactly. I think there could be many reasons.
Yeah, I
There's
know,
many
right?
reasons, yeah.
It's just not one pinpoint because some people are like, oh, well, he's not satisfied at home. And I don't necessarily feel that's true because he could be being satisfied at home. But then also he could not have been respected at home. And men must have respect.
Absolutely.
And sometimes I think when you meet a man and he cheats once and you're married, it becomes an appetite for him. That means he wants to taste it again. And unless he becomes saved and delivered, he'll always have that appetite to taste it again.
I think a lot of women have to be, not open, but really close doors on the men that are insecure. There's a lot of men walking around here that are very insecure. And that's one thing that I've not had the pleasure of dealing with. Thankfully, God has placed me in situations where I didn't have to do that. And that's always been something of mine that I've been blessed with. But a lot of men are walking around very insecure, so when they have a certain kind of woman, they'll move a certain way because of their insecurity of how great they may be, the woman may be.
You have to change your standards. If you don't want a dog, then don't accept him. It's not necessarily almost so much the guys, because you have good guys out there. Everybody ain't a dog.
Yeah.
No.
But if you keep attracting dogs, that means you need to check you. Check yourself. Check your aroma. Check what you smell of.
Yeah. Being stupid, I was going to touch on this earlier, is not a bad thing because how else are we going to learn from our experiences?
Exactly.
You have to have been placed in a situation where you were stupid. Now it's a continuation of being stupid is the problem. If you dated one dog, why can't you tell what all dogs look like if they're all the same? Not to say you're going to be an expert on that level, but you should have signs that allow you to see, okay, that's possibly a dog. Even though he's only got 3 legs, probably a dog with just 3 legs, that's all. You got to become very equipped. And that's what God allows us to do through these experiences if you're allowing him to work in you and not on you.
Again, thank you all so much for coming. The discussion was definitely fruitful. So we are doing a giveaway for Mrs. Smart's book, The Journey of a Helpmeet, which was the basis of this discussion. So all you have to do if you would like to win this book is go ahead and like Mrs. Smart's Facebook for this book called At the Helpmeet on Facebook, and like the show's Facebook page, The Mel D. Hall Show. Then comment done on the Mel D. Hall Show's Facebook page, and we will pick a winner. So I just want to give a special shout out to our sponsors, TWAA Naturals. Go ahead and check them out on Instagram at MyDivaGlam. Also their Etsy shop at TWAA Naturals. This has been the Mel D. Hall Show, and have a great day.